Hey everyone, I'm back and today we're going to be talking about The King's Speech, and this movie is directed by Tom Hooper and it came out in 2010, and I thought this movie was great. I really enjoyed it. I think that for what it was going for, I think this is probably the best movie you could have possibly made for the most part, and what I really enjoyed about it was the story. I found it really interesting. I think the performances in this movie are really good. And I really enjoyed watching all these characters in this time period and just how different everything was back then as it is now. And that was one of my favorite parts of the movie. And I also really loved our two main characters whenever they were trying to get the king to help aid his stutter, because that's really his big problem, is because he keeps stuttering all the time, and he just he can't hold a conversation or give a speech without stuttering, and he's just trying to get that fixed, or at least help him not stutter anymore. And those scenes I found to be really good. I think the characters are really well written, and no character in this movie feels as though they're out of the time period that this movie is set in. Just judging by the way all the characters behaved, and the performances really carry this movie as well. Like Colin Firth, he's great in this movie, and he really carries this movie, and without him, I don't think this movie would work. I personally haven't done any research as to how accurate this movie is, so I'm not going to judge this movie as to how accurate or inaccurate it was. It didn't feel super cliched or anything to me, or at least the parts that were supposed to be dramatic and you were supposed to feel as though things were happening in a kind of a bad way, not like unintentionally bad. It never felt forced. I thought the drama was natural, and the dialogue in the movie is really good, and that helps out the film a lot. And this movie is just dialogue. It's not really things happening so much as it is just characters talking to each other and aiding our main character's stutter. And this movie is also very well paced. It doesn't waste any time, and each scene in this movie has a purpose, and it never once shows off, oh, look how things were different then as to now. It's just that all the differences are just implied. You're supposed to just pick up on them as you're watching them. And the movie just doesn't point it out in an obvious way, or at least not in a way that I thought it was super obvious. And I really enjoyed the scenes where our main character was giving out a speech. There's only 3 scenes in this movie that have that, but they're really good, and they're pretty brief, and it pretty much implies how things went with the scene preceding it, or what you saw of it. And I thought that was a really great choice. The only issue that I have with this movie really would be the music. Not that it was bad, it was just nothing memorable to me, and in the scenes where it was using music, it just didn't add anything for me. But aside from that, I thought The King's Speech was great. The characters are very well written. I think the performances are great, and even the child performances I didn't have an issue with. I think the movie looks nice, and this movie looks like it's taking place in the 1930s, and I liked the direction that it took, and there's some choices that are made in this movie that I enjoyed, that I already talked about. This movie doesn't do anything more than it tries to achieve, but in terms of what it's going for, I think it succeeds in pretty much every way. And if you were to watch this movie, I don't think you would leave unsatisfied. And with all that being said, I'm going to give The King's Speech an 8 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos as always. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below what you thought of The King's Speech down below. And my social media links, they will all be in the description down below, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see you when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for V for Vendetta. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.